resolution. That way we don't.
Good morning. My name is Chris Caius. I'm the chair of this administrative committee. I'm calling the meeting to order this morning, Wednesday, July 14th, 2021. Can we have a roll call, please?
Berman,
Berman here.
Davist,
Present.
Fries,
Here.
Gums,
She had to leave.
Martin,
Martin present.
Caius.
Caius present.
Thank you.
Shepro present.
Shepro, I'm sorry, Mr. Shepro.
Shepro present. Okay, thank you. Can I have a motion to approve the minutes from June 9th, 2021? Froz moves.
Berman second.
Berman second. Any changes? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Gums, Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, finance reports are attached, I believe, so I don't think we would speak about that. Is there any public comment? Online or in the chamber? Seeing none, moving on. Would this be appropriate time for that resolution, or do you
I can speak to that, sir.
resolution for
Mhm.
sheriff? Okay,
Yes.
we're going to change the order around just a little bit here so that we can get the sheriff on his way. He needs to speak to something because we know he has important things.
Important hike.
We're referring to the resolution about the addiction treatment center, right? That got bumped up here? That's
Whatever you want to speak about.
Oh, okay.
Any or all of these, if you want to, Mr.
Perfect.
Mr. Sheriff.
I do appreciate that.
Yeah.
So obviously, this is something brand new in our nation, this whole concept, and we're very proud to lead this charge and lead the legislation that got changed down in Springfield, allowing us to do an addiction treatment center within the sheriff's office complex. Finally got an answer from our great state's attorney's office within the last couple hours that their recommendation is we should pull this resolution at this time, go to RFP for that third-party treatment provider. And then once that person is selected through proper RFP process, then we come back with that resolution and lined out contract agreement to the board and move forward from there.
So item F then is, we're not going to deal with today.
We can strike that.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question.
Yes, sir, Mr. Frost.
Just because this board deals with construction, is the elevator project still part of the plan? There was at one time we talked about an elevator and access lobby.
So we'll leave that on that third-party provider who does the build out, whether or not they feel that they need that outside elevator.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And then can we also move to the discussion about our national night out that I see in new business?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I wasn't leading that discussion, so
New business discussion. A. Yes.
I think Chris had a point to make on that.
Yeah, I'm going to support the sheriff. There's a national night out on August 3rd from, I believe, 6 to 8 p.m., sir.
That's right. Is it 5 to 8 or 6 to 8? 6 to 8:30.
6 to 8:30, and I just make an announcement so the committee is aware that there's going to be an event out at the new sheriff's area as well as the coroner's space. Just a public service announcement.
Thanks, Chris. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's a fun event that we do every year. Obviously not 2020 during COVID times, but great night for parents, kids, family members to come on out, free food, get to see all the cool sheriff stuff, interact with deputies and dogs and drones and all those cool toys that we have.
Ooh,
So,
drones.
drones too.
Mm.
Yep.
The Muff Center,
It'll be based at the multipurpose building, yes.
multi-purpose, okay.
Thank you, folks.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Hain, Sheriff Hain. Great. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled meeting.
Okay, sir.
Would be Mr. Allen,
Yes, sir.
Executive Director, Facilities.
Yes. Under item 5A, capital projects, items 1 through 5 are going to, as I briefed before, be put on hold until we receive the results of the master plan back. So I have nothing else to offer on those, and I'll be removing them from the agenda until they come back up via the master plan. Yesterday at the board meeting, the JC Boiler Project was approved. The King County Branch Court Carpet Project was approved, and the Mill Creek SSA ADA sidewalks was approved. And finally, more important, the Sheriff's Jail East Drive was approved. So you'll see those as active capital projects next month on the agenda.
So we'll have a swap. then.
Yeah.
And keep track of those as we move along.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Funding will go back into the general or back to your reserve.
Yes. Yes.
I-
There'll be a resolution moving those funds or requesting to move those funds next month as well.
Great. Okay, any questions on those particular things? I know that's kind of it's just an update, but if you have any questions for Mr. Allen, okay. Then item B, that's again you, Mr. Allen.
Yes, so the next is a resolution approving personal replacement hiring for the building management capital projects director. As many of you remember, that was my initial position when I joined the county, and when I assumed my new roles as the executive director, that position was vacated. So it is a funded and budgeted position that I'd like to proceed with filling.
Okay, can I have a motion in a second? Ford will move.
Brad seconds.
Frost seconds. Discussion?
Fries has a comment.
Yes, Mr. Frost.
Yeah, just so everybody knows, I do want to thank Chris because going back, I don't know what the timetable is, but over a year, we changed positions. The director had hired Chris as his assistant, and then Director Sparks left, so Chris took over that position. Our Mill Creek director left, and so Chris basically did all three jobs for about a year. So we're filling something that's long overdue, and I want to thank Chris for all his hard work doing three jobs. So.
It was fun.
That's that other Chris. Yeah. And so we're up to staff on the top end there. Then we have Mill Creek filled.
Yes, we do have Mill Creek
So
filled.
They will fill his position and then your position. So,
Yes.
okay. Any other comments or questions about this? I think it does, just one point, is that when you look at the resolution itself, which I believe will be modified by the time it gets to finance, it does say that the funding is NA and the amount NA, but that'll be filled in. So it is budgeted for. It has been an existing position, so it's not a new position. And those items will be done.
I can get that amended, sir.
Okay, so any other questions? Oh, sorry, Madam Chairman.
I just have a follow-up
Madam Chair.
comment to Mr. Frost's comment.
Is your mic on? I'm sorry. Or-
Yeah, there it is.
There you
it
go, a
is.
little
Just
closer.
bit
Thank you.
closer. I was wondering if Mr. Allen has given those two previous employees that he himself and him had done. Your assistant for 1 year, you filled 2 other jobs. Did you give each one of those men a recommendation? Him, yourself, and he?
Me, myself, and I.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Mr. Martin, I think I saw a hand back there. Can I have you speak into the microphone, please?
You can do all 3 jobs. Why do we need to hire the other 2?
Look, he's been nervous the whole time. I'm waiting for him to calm down just a little bit.
Bullets.
Okay. He had to keep the energy level really high. Okay, any other relevant comments? We'll drive the discussion forward. Hearing none, seeing none, for item B, approving replacement hiring, building management capital project director. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Item C, resolution authorizing a contract for Kane County Mechanical, Electrical, and Civil Engineering Services. Mr. Allen.
Yes, sir. So what I'm doing here is streamlining our current processes as it is now. Generally, what we do is we have an architect at risk on contract, and then if we need to have a boiler redone or reviewed, then they sub out that work, and we pay administration fee to the architect as well as we pay the services. So what I'm going to do here, or I'm asking to do here, is be able to go direct with a mechanical engineer, a civil engineer, or an electrical engineer. So that way we're streamlining the process and having internal controls on an as-needed basis.
Sounds reasonable to me. Does, I'll entertain a motion. Ford? Second. Discussion, Mr. Ford, did you have something? Or did I just see some anticipation in your eye? No? Okay. Sounds, hearing no comment or suggestions, questions online? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes. Item D, resolution authorizing a contract extension for refuse removal and recycling service for Kane County Government, Division of Transportation, Kane County Sheriff, Animal Control, and Kane County Forest Preserve.
Yes, sir. This is just a real simple, straightforward contract extension, which we're able to do within the tenets of the contract.
We had the 5-year, and this is the 1-year extension, is that
I
what it
believe
was?
so, yes, sir.
So it's just carrying it forward as previously identified when we passed it in 2017, I believe, the original. Motion from Ford,
Second, Berman.
Berman, second. Any discussion or questions about this?
I have one.
Yes, Mr. Martin.
That actually may be on point.
I'm sorry.
That actually may have relevance.
Oh, okay. Oh,
This may be a stupid idea, but geographically, all this stuff seems to hover in this area. And we've got, the cities of Batavia and the cities of Geneva. Is there any sense to try to negotiate among the three and get a better deal, or is that just a fool's mission to try to do
not sure if
that?
anybody has an answer for that one.
They all use someone different, don't they?
I contacted Jennifer Jarlin, who's our, and she said, believe that it makes sense to go ahead and do the, to just carry it forward for another year and we.
Oh, I'm not saying we shouldn't do it, just as a question. Is there any way of using the power of all of these governmental bodies that are basically all within a 2-mile radius of each other to get a better deal than we've got?
Well, I think that's,
Maybe a phone call. I'm just,
yeah.
I don't want to delay the meeting. It's not
Well, that would
today's
be
agenda, but
staff certainly when we redo the contract, talk well ahead of time with Jennifer. And
all right, thanks.
yeah, thank you. I think that's a good point. All right. Any other comments or questions? Brown.
To Mr. Martin's point, I might suggest if that's a consideration of this committee, that the phone call should come sooner than later to the other entities that were mentioned, Batavia and Geneva, because I'm not sure that their contracts would line up timeframe wise with the counties. So if you're going to try to jump on board altogether, you need to find out when their contracts expire.
Good point. I was trying to read what Jennifer said. It makes sense at this time to extend the existing contract specifically. So we'll bring that up to Jennifer and, or she's probably listening. And we'll have that, maybe we will coordinate in the future for something like that. Okay, any other comments or questions? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Yes.
Thank you.
Item E, facilities request, Geneva Concours de Elegance. That would be, Mr. Martin has his hands up, or is that
Let Chris explain it. I was going
Oh. Chris?
Yes, that's a facility usage or space usage request for the old courthouse parking lot and lawn area, parking lot, front lawn, and others for a car and art show.
Okay. And that's through your department and Lily handles that organization.
And I have the
coordination.
package here, and it is complete and accurate.
And signed. Okay, great. Then Mr. Martin moves. Second,
Roz seconds.
Roz seconds. Any our car buff there would be seconded, it, right?
I think that's gone on for about 10 years without incident. It's been a great event.
It's an extraordinary show. It's
Yeah.
a jury thing with some of the most it's a juried affair with some of the most extraordinary vehicles you've ever seen. Beautiful old cars. They have a whole block of Porsches and a whole block of Maseratis, and I mean it's really a good way to spend a Sunday afternoon.
When we get to this,
Fun.
if you want to do the farce.
Okay, any other comments or questions? Roll call, please. Or actually, yeah, roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Franz,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Yes.
Thank you.
I guess the question I had, this will not go, this just goes to our committee. We've approved it, so it's a done deal now. It doesn't have to go on through as I understand it. We skip F. That's been removed. Item G, resolution authorizing an amendment to Resolution 21-202, an agreement for architect, engineer, and construction manager at risk services contracts. And that would be Mr. Allen again.
Yes, this amendment is just clearing up some language from the previous original resolution, whereas when we hired the 3 architect at risk firms, one of the firms, Healy, listed R.C. Wegman as their partner. And what we're trying to do here is similar to the mechanical and engineering and civil engineering, is that way if we have a small end need, we can go direct with a construction firm, and that would be R.C. Wegman. And I believe that if there's any questions for the legalities or reasoning for this, there's a state's attorney's member on here if you have any legal questions.
And so we've passed it to have those architects, RFPs, it's all set. This is just a modified to add this as a additional service or.
Yeah, a joint service in concert with the other services. It just clarifying the language because the original resolution did not mention R.C. Wegman, so we're just getting it added in there now.
All right. Any comments or questions? Can I have a motion? Ford moves. Ford move.
Roz seconds.
Ross seconds. Any comments and questions now, or questions? Online? Hearing none, seeing none? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Franz,
Roz, yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, information technology. Item A, resolution authorizing contracts for low voltage data cabling and structured network cable engineering services. Mr. Mr. Roger
Yeah,
Fonstock.
I-
Mr.
We'll
Fonstock,
share
Director.
that one. I need a motion.
Scared me.
Over here. You want a motion first?
I'll make the motion.
Ford will move it.
Okay.
Berman will second it.
All right. Good morning. What you have is a resolution authorizing the contracts for low voltage cabling. It's what we use for the phones, network, and computers in the various buildings. We do get a lot of change order. I don't know why.
We'll
try a
talk to
different
IT
one.
about that.
Yeah, we'll try a different one. This one's got some resonating sounds. So anyway, the RFP was sent out by purchasing, and we received 4 responses back for the low voltage cabling that we do in the other buildings. This is just change orders and work that develops as a result of building construction and other projects where we have to add cabling. It is a 2-year contract, not to exceed $300,000 per year, and there's an option for 2-year extensions with the cabling companies. So it's not to exceed $300,000 per year for 2 years. We picked 2 vendors to provide those services. One is Blade Electric, and the other is CNC Systems. We do that in order to basically get someone responsive to our needs when we need them. We've had issues where we can't get services to put cabling in an emergency situation. So it's just better to have two vendors. The 300,000 is a not to exceed. And we generally are under that, but we do want the ability to get the cabling done and get the network services up and running if there's a need throughout the county. So we're recommending approval of two vendors, Blade Electric and CNC Systems, in response to the RFP, and an amount not to exceed $300,000 for 2 years with the option for two-year extensions.
Okay. So we have it moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, seeing none. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Okay. See, did you say you had two items?
Yes, there should be a second resolution, which was authorizing a fiscal year 2021 budget adjustment for the purchase of Apricot software from SHI International through a joint purchasing agreement. It was
I'm looking at the unrevised.
and Charles and I are gonna make a handout available because it was
Okay.
added late in the
Right.
game. So.
So item B then is authorizing a fiscal year 2021 budget adjustment for the purchase of Apricot software from SHI International through a joint purchasing agreement. Can I have a motion?
Raz moves.
Frost moves,
Berman, second.
Berman second,
Okay.
and now we can discuss it.
All right, great. So
Carry on.
what we handed out in the packets that you received, two handouts. The first one describes the expenses from 2021, 2022, and 2023. The initial first year cost of $15,508.09. And then the subsequent 2 years are just maintenance of the software. So the first year includes implementation and the initial setup of the program. This program is something that State's Attorney Jamie Mosser, the sheriff, the city of, I think, Elgin, are working on. It's related specifically to law enforcement assisted diversion. And I know Martha Paschke is here from the State's Attorney's Office who handles the program. I know she can answer more questions about this than I can if necessary. This is basically a program that's going to hopefully help low-level offenders that have different issues, whether it's mental health, substance issues, lack of resources. There's a couple of different descriptions in the packet of information that I provided you. The State's Attorney's Office is committed to this. They have some grant program funding available. They also have some other funding from their automation funds that we're looking at. So if you look at the resolution that's in the one packet, you'll see that the budgeting sources are not identified yet. And we were trying to work that out right before the meeting. So what we're proposing is that if admin would pass this to finance, we would get the budget adjustments for their automation funds and the funding resources that are required put in place during finance committee. Again, the total contract for this Apricot PreArrest case management is $36,612.99. The one page is a breakdown of the 3-year costs and the total. The first year we were looking at using contingency and reserve funds. The second 2 years, the State's Attorney's Office is committed to using automation funds to pay the ongoing maintenance. So that's the structure of the funding that we would be putting on in finance in the resolution. I think the sense of urgency is that the State's Attorney's Office is trying to get this program started later this month. And so getting the software in place, getting them started, it's only 10 people using it or less. So we think we can get it up in time for their program, but they're going to be keeping track of all the participants in the program, making case notes and follow up with people. And again, the goal is to try and I think keep people out of the criminal courts and the criminal process. So we're trying to support that as a IT department with State's Attorney Jamie Mosser. And again, we have Martha Paschke here if you have any questions. Martha's back there
Martha,
in
do
the
you-
green.
Ms. Paskey, do you have anything you want to add? Just go ahead.
Sorry, is this on? Okay. So the reason we're seeking this specific database software is because with the PreArrest Diversion system that we're setting up, it's really critical that the participants' data is kept secure and separate from other databases that exist, because these individuals are not charged with anything. So we need to protect their Fifth Amendment rights and keep their sensitive information separate from other databases that exist. So I'm happy to answer any other questions. I don't want to overburden you with too much information, though. Yes.
I was interested, how was the initial contact with the individuals?
So the initial contact is officer contact.
Okay.
So if an individual has been called in for a low-level nonviolent offense, and the officer believes that it's related to substance use issue or mental health issue or lack of resources,
Very good.
they can offer them enrollment in PreArrest Diversion, and we'll have case managers that will help them seek out the wraparound services and the treatment services that they need. So this is where we're trying to house that information on the participants and the services that they're getting.
Thank you.
Berman. Any other question, Madam Chair?
How many people are you thinking of serving? And this is just for Elgin, correct?
No, so this is actually, so the Elgin pilot is ready to start anytime. We're waiting on a few legal documents from the City of Elgin's legal counsel before we officially start our pilot in Elgin. But the King County Sheriff's Office is ready to get on board with us as soon as we get rolling solidly in Elgin. So this is hopefully going to be a county-wide thing eventually. And one of the great things about this software is that it allows us to maintain and manage multiple sites, so that folks who are managing participants in Elgin won't have access to participants through the King County Sheriff's Office information, and all of that data can be kept separately. And at the same time, we at the King County State's Attorney's Office can pull reports on the full participant base to provide reporting to any grant sources, especially. All of the grants that I've applied for have very stringent reporting requirements. And that's another great facet of this software, is it allows us to pull that data easily.
And I'm sure that you'll update us as well.
Yes, absolutely. We're very excited about this program and think it's going to be leading the way in Illinois.
Mr. Ford?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm just really excited about this program, this diversion program, and I'm glad to see that Kane County is getting out in front of this. And I'm looking to do whatever I can to support it. And this is going to be, this is kind of direction that I'm glad to see us go into.
Great, thank you, Mr. Ford. And I think Ms. Bates had her hand.
Ditto. I think this is a fantastic program. Is there any way that it can be extended out to cities like Aurora?
So that is the goal eventually. I'm a department or unit of one right now. So I've been working since March 1st trying to get grant funding to be able to hire more staff and expand what we're able to do. We do have federal funding right now to have the LEAD, which is the Law Enforcement Assisted Diversion National Bureau Directors. They're coming at the end of July. So some of you may have seen their community forums on July 28th and 29th. You're all welcome to attend to learn more. So we do have that federal funding already. Our funding through the Congressional Community Project Funds, which I applied for through Representative Lauren Underwood. I just got a call 2 days ago from the Capitol, US Capitol, that our funding was included in the fiscal year 22 budget bill that they're submitting. So we're very hopeful we'll get more funding, but it is really important that we have a way to report accurately our participant data.
Mr. Frost, did I see your hand?
Chairman Caius, this is Jamie Mosser. Can I
Okay.
add to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Ms. Moser.
One of the things that we found out is that we also have a little bit of resistance from some law enforcement within our community, which is understandable. This is a brand new system and it's a new way of actually dealing with these types of cases. So part of what we're doing with the help of Elgin and the Sheriff's Department is we're proving how this can work in our community. And we're going to be able to do that in a rural setting as well as an urban setting. So to Ms. Bates's question, it's our intent to show everybody how great this system works and then put it throughout all of Kane County.
Great. Mr. Frost, did you have a
Yeah,
comment?
I guess this is for State's Attorney Moser, and I guess this really isn't the purview of this committee. We're buying software today, but I do want to ask, at some point, who will determine what people would go into this program? I guess, I'm all for it. I'm 100% for this. But of course, we're also hearing right now about people, for example, in Cook County that are being involved in crimes with firearms and released the same day on bail. So I just want to make sure that somebody on the county board, or I don't know who that would be, would oversee the types of offenders that would go into this program.
Well, that's a fantastic question, and people with firearms, that's not intended for this program.
It's okay.
This is the low-level, nonviolent offenders who are the people who are possessing drugs or possibly committing a retail theft because they're trying to supply a habit, or people who have lack of resources. And because this is police officer driven, this is by officers who see these people probably on a daily basis and understand the situation that they're in. On top of that, then, it gets referred over to us, and we then can say if we don't believe that this person should have been a part of this program. So there's layers of what this is going to look like, but again, because it's police officer driven, we believe that we're going to get the people who are really in need of it versus somebody who is a danger to our community.
I think that's great. I think having the police officer's discretion as the first line of defense, very important. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, any other comments? Questions? Nothing online? Okay, item B. Authorizing fiscal year 2021 budget adjustment for the purchase of Apricot software from SHI International through a joint purchasing agreement. Roll call.
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Thank you.
I'm not on the committee, but I wanted to vote for it anyway.
Put Madam Bates in parentheses on.
Of course.
Yes vote, I guess. Item 7, Mill Creek SSA.
Yes, again, this is for the native prairie maintenance that includes, prescribed fire burns, tree and shrub removal, and herbaceous removal. This is a 2-year base contract with 3-year renewable options, or 3 one-year renewable options. This is going to be phased over the first 2 years. And again, this is funded solely by the residents of the Mill Creek SSA. This is not county funds.
Roz moves.
Roz moves.
Board seconds.
Ford second. Any additions, Mr. Frost? That's your
Nope.
district? Nope.
So Mill Creek has a lot of prairie, little pockets of prairie around, and so that's the majority of what this is.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Roll call, please.
Berman,
Yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Thank you.
Okay, item 8, I don't believe we have any vehicles to deal with today. Item 9, construction. The resolution approving a budget adjustment for second courtroom.
Yes, as we've heard this before, is the JJC courtroom build out. The project has been through review and approval. The best qualified lowest bidder has been identified, and I believe Mr. Naughton is here to talk about the finances.
Yeah, I've got a handout for the vendor that was selected.
In the meantime, I'll take a motion in a second.
Moves.
Ford move,
Roz second.
second. I'm sorry, did you get that, Karen?
I did.
Ford and Frost.
Ford,
Okay,
Fries, thank you.
good job. Sorry.
Roll call.
Thank you.
All right, the resolution that's before you is setting up the accounts that this facility will be paid for. It's coming from the court facilities fee, We have made the budget adjustments through finance with Erica Wagner's help. Essentially what we've done, we've taken $888,000 out of that account and set it aside. Currently, that account sits at $1,155,834. So there are sufficient funds to cover all the costs for the construction of that second courtroom. The reason that you see a higher number on the resolution, the 888,000 versus the 852,000 of the architect's estimate, is to cover unexpected costs. The lower level of the JJC, the Juvenile Justice Center, is a secure facility. So much of the wiring comes up from the floor, you know, for the phones, the computers and things like that, that would be in the courtrooms and in the office spaces. The problem is the space below is a detention facility. So instead of having drywall or a drop ceiling, you've got steel panels that are bolted together with special connectors. And the labor to remove those panels is exponentially greater than a normal ceiling. So even if we don't spend 888,000, that money will then stay in that account to be used for some other purpose. But we just wanted to make sure we had all the bases covered. So I would ask that you approve the funding of the facility.
Okay, any questions for Doug? Hearing none? Seeing none? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Thank you.
Okay. The second thing that I handed out is for, I didn't get this in time to make the agenda. This is the selection of the actual company that would do the construction. I included the letter from Corrigan and Clark that said that Light Construction Company of Montgomery, it was the lowest responsible bidder at the price as stated. I also included the other construction companies that had put in a bid for this project. I don't believe, according to the state's attorney, we can vote on this because this was not on the agenda. So this is pretty much informational only. For those members that are viewing remotely, I will make or scan a copy of this and make sure you get this in the email.
So this will be in the August agenda then?
Evidently, yes, unless there's some other way we can work something out to start the project earlier, so. And she just smiles.
I don't think we can act on it at all. If you start at somewhere else, that's up to somebody else.
So.
Where it start, finance?
I think we go to finance.
I don't know.
Suggestion.
Okay,
Not to vote.
I think that we could suggest it. We could say that we have a consensus to start it somewhere else. We wouldn't be offended if you started somewhere else to speed things up if it's necessary.
Okay.
But we would be happy to deal with it next month if that's the case.
All right, I will see what our options are. Perhaps maybe executive, too late for judiciary, which is tomorrow. So we'll let you know.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, Madam Bates.
is Corrigan and Clark the architect for this project?
Yes.
Was that started before the new 3 architects came on board?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's a list of like 14 projects they're trying to complete out. So
Okay.
yeah, you'll see their name for a while still.
Okay. Nothing else under construction. New business, we dealt with item A. Item B is a presentation. We should have moved you up along with the sheriff, I think. You're important too, aren't you?
Thank you.
I apologize.
No problem.
We always save the best stuff for last. That's how that works.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, this is pretty exciting, and this is Miss Ivy Clee from the Water Division.
Yes, good morning, everyone. Thank you for having me. My name is Ivy Clee. I'm King County's Resource Management Coordinator in the Department of Environment and Water Resources. Today, I'm going to be giving a presentation on a solar power purchase agreement opportunity for King County's Judicial Center. Just a little bit of background on this project. Originally, County Board Member Mavis Bates brought this project idea to E&E Committee, and we discussed pursuing more information to find out more about whether this project would be feasible. We have been working alongside Progressive Energy Group They have helped other local entities with this kind of project. Some examples are Mooseheart and Fox Metro solar arrays. We sent out a non-binding RFP in May to receive more information on a project proposal. So today I'm going to be sharing the results that came back, the bids that came back from that RFP. Today we are looking for your feedback and any questions that are, we're happy to answer any questions. We have Arnie Schrammel with us today. He is the Progressive Energy Group representative. He's been assisting us with project specifics and understanding. And we also have online with us today the president of Green Solar, GRNE Solar, Eric Peterman, who will also be available for any technical questions. All right, so just some history on the environmental stewardship and sustainable practices at Kane County. So we've been supporting renewable energy for quite some time. We have a solar installation at our animal control facility. In our King County 2040 energy plan, we encourage on-site renewable energy for residential buildings as well as commercial and industrial buildings. In the 2040 King County plan, that plan cites facilitating and siting of smart grid technology and renewable energy infrastructure. It also includes designing to increase energy efficiency and reliability. We also have an operational sustainability plan, and that plan references purchasing or installing of renewable energy for county facility energy use, and also removing dependence on grid-produced electricity, and in the event lowering monthly energy costs. And then finally, most recently, we adopted a King County Green Building Policy earlier this year to incorporate green building and design principles into our new building and renovation processes of county-owned buildings. So this policy ensures that buildings are environmentally responsible, economical, and also healthy places to work. And if possible, if we can reduce or eliminate the negative impact of buildings on the environment and our occupants. So today I'm going to be sharing a quick summary of the project proposal, of the project proposals that came back, and also one in particular. So like I said, we sent out an RFP in May and we received 8 informal bid proposals back. Green Solar was ranked the highest in our evaluations, and there is a potential for savings in our transmission and service utility fees annually. So that was the main finding that we found in our results. So the transmission and service utility fees are separate from paying for the electricity. We have reason to believe from the knowledge of Mavis as well as Arnie that these transmission and service utility fees are going to be increasing this year if and when a new clean energy bill is passed by the governor. So these could already be increasing, and we have potential for savings in our current transmission and service fees. So just keep that in mind. The project proposal that we received from Green is a 25-year power purchase agreement. If anyone is unfamiliar with that, a power purchase agreement is a contract where one entity generates electricity and the other purchases electricity. And then also the location of the proposed project is at the Judicial Center and jail meters. So next we have a picture of the proposed solar site. So you can see there, the Judicial Center is at the top. Hopefully that's clear. And then the proposed solar array is in the southwest corridor. So our main goal was to focus on utilizing non-developable land in the Southwest Corridor. We don't want to interfere with any current county operations and any future county operations. So we considered the master plan. We went with the master plan committee to discuss any kind of barriers or issues that might arise because this project would be over the course of 25 years. So you can see on the picture, I tried to put where potential adult justice additions may be placed. Those are the green boxes on the picture. And then also potential possible future parking lots are in the red. So based on the information that we have, the proposed solar site should not interfere with any future additions to the master plan. And also, we're planning to meet with Sheriff Ron Hain. Mavis is going to take him on a walking tour later this afternoon to ensure there's no security concerns because the project is close to the Judicial Center. And then we're also planning to work with the Mayor of Geneva, Kevin Burns, to address any kind of neighbor concerns with the project. On that note, the project proposal that we received from Green does have some landscaping changes to the current Southwest Corridor. There is a berm, and the project would require that we reduce the height of the berm. So it's currently at 790 feet, and the project proposal has a reduction of the berm by 15 to 20 feet. So we went back and looked at where there's an original landscaping plan, and we found that the Criminal Justice Project Steering Committee originally approved a landscaping plan where the lowest level of the berm could be at 768 feet. So this decrease in the berm would still meet the approved landscaping plan. So we should be okay on that. And then there were no fencing restrictions found. The project proposal does include fencing around the solar array. And then moving on to the energy production and savings, not for the courthouse, I apologize, that is a typo, but for the Judicial Center and the jail meters. So just some specifics, the system would consist of approximately 4,352 solar panels. The size would be 2,000 kilowatts or 2 megawatts. So this is the largest size, which is allowed to qualify for the Illinois Power Authority SREC grants. So for those of you that are unfamiliar with the SREC grants, that is the grant funding that we would need to be eligible for this project. So that funding ideally will be replenished when a new Illinois Clean Energy Bill is passed. It hasn't been passed yet. It's still in legislation. Some form of that will hopefully be passed. And when those SREC grants are replenished, those allow for the solar vendor to be able to provide this type of project to us at no cost to the county. So that was the largest size that we are allowed to have. And then there will be just around 4 million kilowatt hours produced per year. That will cover 45% of the energy use of the Judicial Center and the jail meters. And based on the proposal we received, there is an estimated first year savings of $198,286 per year. And during the total, in the event that that estimated number is correct, during the total savings of the 25-year life of the system, that would equate to just under $5 million. And that excludes any kind of increase in service fees that we have reason to believe may occur later this year. So again, zero costs to the county. And the solar vendor is required to do all the maintenance on the solar field for the 25 years. Here we have project timelines. So on the left-hand side, we have the King County project timeline of when we plan to bring this project to the different committees. And then also on the right-hand side, we have the green solar project timeline. So you could see the timeline of what the project looks like. Currently, we're bringing this discussion and presentation to the administration committee and at E&E later this week. And then in August, we plan to bring a resolution for the power purchase agreement, which will be non-binding in the event that the SREC grants do not come through, or if there is an increase in any incurred costs that we find later on with more information on the project site. So in the event that our savings ends up being a much lower number than the estimated, we are not bound to the contract. And then that will also be brought up at administration in August, E&E, and then to exec and county board in September. And the green solar project timeline, you can see there's contract execution, engineering, and permitting through the rest of 2021, and then procurement, mobilization, and installation through early 2022, and ideally close out in testing in July and August of next year. So once again, just to reiterate, all costs for this project proposal are covered by the grant, the SREC grants, and the solar vendor. But the county receives all the benefits of green energy and utility savings. We're really excited to bring this project proposal to you all today. Here's my contact information. Please feel free to reach out with any questions. We're happy to take any questions. And if anyone wants to do a walkthrough of the project site, Mavis and I are happy to take you. Arnie, is there anything you want to add? No? Okay.
Okay.
Yes, sir. I'd like to add that Mavis and Ivy and Jody have really put their sweat equity into this, and this is, as it stands right now, is a win-win. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, that's great. Well, we can get you attention there. There's your ID, but you can get you to today. Mr. Martin, do you have a question for Ivy or a comment?
Well, I guess both. It's an exciting project, and it was a great presentation. The berm that we need to lower, is that, my recollection is that there was an old inventory of black dirt out there that has been there since the jail has been built. I'm wondering is that our expense, or is that?
No, that would be covered by the solar vendor.
It will, okay, because it may be we could put a black dirt vendor out there and just sell it down to the area it should be. It's not really a landscaping thing. And I didn't know if we had I can't see the site in my mind's eye. If we had other soil we need to get rid of out there from the past construction.
To speak to that extra soil, sir, I kind of got my eye on that to move that up in between the multi-purpose building and the Juvenile Justice Center.
So there's a purpose for it.
I do have an earmark.
Okay. All right, I just didn't know if we had balanced it out.
Mr. Martin, would you like to go see the berm?
The what?
I'd like to go see the berm with me.
I've seen the berm,
Okay.
but thank you.
Just in case you had to visualize it better that way. Did you have a question, Mr. Froz, or comment?
Madam Chair is ahead of me, I think.
Oh, Madam Chair.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Frost. I do have a question regarding the vendor. 25 years is a very long time. What happens if they go out of business?
Arnie will come answer that.
Go ahead, and step up and introduce yourself and then answer the question if you would, please.
Yeah, hello, I'm Arnie Schrammel. I'm a managing partner at Progressive Energy Group. That's a very good question. Once the solar field is built, the actual operating cost of solar is actually very, very low. So what we did with like Kendall County or Fox Metro, there's provisions in the contract that if that company ever goes broke, somebody will probably purchase that, or even the county might purchase it at that time, because nobody's going to disassemble that field and move it. It's too expensive. So the key is once they're built, like a lot of power plants, once they're built, the actual cost of running it is very low. It's really just the maintenance of the grass and the pollinator plants underneath that need to be maintained every year. So we view that as a very low risk. There's more of a risk at the end of 25 years. They have a commitment to remove the field. And there's some bonding stuff that has to get incorporated in the contract to make sure there's funds available at the end of 25 years to remove the field.
And with that, what happens if hail damage or a tornado comes through and rips it up?
Yeah, the solar developer, GRNE, they have to have insurance on the field. The other thing that wasn't mentioned is there's an 85% production guarantee that they have to give to the county. Now there is, let's say a tornado comes through and rips out all the field. They still have to there's a production schedule for 25 years, it slightly declines every year. But they're required to give the county 85% of the contracted power every year. Even if field's ripped down, they're financially obligated to get that field rebuilt and provide that power to the county.
Thank you. Thank you.
Or from other sources if they don't have it rebuilt?
Yeah, I mean, if a tornado comes through and takes out half the field, they'll have to buy power from other sources until they get it repaired and fixed. But yeah, they own the field. So they're responsible for maintaining the field. The county owns the property. The big thing, the county's got to make a commitment that they're going to let them lease that field for 25 years. So that's the big commitment from the county is you have to be willing to let that land be a solar field for 25 years. So that's one of the major commitments the county has to really think about.
And to clarify, Ivy, the work has been done that this property that we're looking at, it cannot be used for any other purpose. It's not buildable, correct?
Yes, yes.
So we're using crummy stuff.
Yeah, originally when we sent out the RFP, we were looking also at the multi-use building, looking at putting a solar array on the roof, also a solar array on the land that is in the northeast corridor, to northeast of the multi-use building. So this was the best site based on the options that we had.
A question.
Mr. Berman?
What the total acreage or area for this?
Yeah, it's right around 8 acres.
Okay.
That section down there.
Now, is there potential that it could go beyond 25 years lifespan? We're still early in the solar energy field.
Yeah, I mean, there's some people that estimate the production on solar, the current technology, the production declines about 1% a year. So we generally like to limit these at 25. A lot of solar guys say they'll go much longer. It's hard to know because there really hasn't been these type of solar panels out there for 25 years. But, you never know. In 25 years, there might be a much more productive solar panel for the same amount of size. So to give the county an option of maybe upgrading to a better panel.
In 25 years, who knows what? We could fly out there and install them with our electric planes or
Have hydro cells out there.
Yeah. That's an excellent
Chair?
question.
Go ahead.
Just to follow up on that. So let's say in 10 years, a new technology comes out for the solar panels. Is this company charged with replacement of the solar panels to increase efficiency? Or is it like buying a car that you're planning on using until it's 300,000 miles?
Yeah, it's the second option. They plan on running this for 25 years. There's no obligation that they have to upgrade panels to more efficient panels or more productive panels anywhere in that 25-year schedule. They have the option to, but there's no requirement to.
That may be something we want to consider as we're going forward. I'm just maybe
on looking at the other end of things, it may be that because of future efficiencies, it may make them obsolete before their time.
Exactly.
But then I would guess that there would be money generated because they're so much more efficient than at some point the tipping point would then allow us to change it.
Maybe, I know we're all excited, thrilled on this project, but that may be something we want to take a look at.
Interesting. Mr. Martin, did I see you back there? Okay. Well, we better move along. Keep Mr. Martin circulation.
Glad
going.
I'm in line after somebody's stretching. Just kidding. I sent some information to a few of the people involved in this. There's an article, a pretty interesting article about American companies that are trying to compete with China in the construction of solar panels. So I'm just wondering, is there any requirement or something we could do to give preference to American companies, or what's intended to be used here?
Yeah, that's a good suggestion. We hadn't contemplated requiring American or Canadian solar panels. But that's, I'd have to ask Green. I think Eric Peterman, I think he's muted. I don't know. He'd probably be better at answering that question than I would.
Hi, Arnie, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we can. Hear
Yes.
Madam Chair, Ivy, thank you. Great presentation, Ivy and Mavis and Arnie. It's great to see all of you again, and thanks for the time. A lot of the solar panels are coming from overseas. There's a big push to get production back into North America, as Arnie mentioned, the US and in Canada. Actually, our proposal is spec'd with Canadian solar modules. That's the name of the company. Some of the components will come from overseas, the silicon that's used to make the cells, but the assembly and a lot of the manufacturing is done in Canada before it comes down to where we'll install it at the facility there.
Okay, yeah, I guess I'm relieved that it's at least a North American product for the most part. Thank you.
No guarantees. Thanks, Eric. Okay, any other questions to our presenters? Thank you, excellent job. Thank you for all that information. We definitely have to move this up in the order of things. This is very interesting stuff, very exciting. Thanks, Ivy. And we have to stall a little bit anyway, because I think the next item is a old business. Item A, resolution establishing the county facilities master plan subcommittee of the administration committee.
Yes, so some background. Right now, we currently have a project management team, which consists of yourself, Mr. Froz, 2 elected officials, and some of the other department heads. What we're doing is expanding our capabilities with this by forming an official subcommittee that would allow other elected officials to attend. Should other elected officials attend, i.e. having 3 or more, then we'll put in play the Open Meetings Act.
So this expands it by an additional member, which would be Mr. Martin.
Yes, sir.
As a subcommittee, we have to have three members of this committee as a subcommittee, so. And any questions? Moving on. Okay, then we'll have, I'll entertain a motion in a second. Froz move.
Ford seconds.
Ford seconds. Any other discussion? Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Yes.
Fraz,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Thank you.
Passes. Okay, can I have a motion and a second to place the reports on file?
Ford moves.
Ford move,
Brad seconds.
Berman second.
Did we miss public comments?
I think we did, I did public comment early, right? Yeah.
All right.
Before we had our presentations, before we went, I think we had, it was in the, right, there was none, so that made it easy. Compared to yesterday, that's why it seemed kind of tame. We have a motion and a second to place reports on file. Roll call, please.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fraz,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Thank you.
I don't believe we have a need for executive session, so I will entertain a motion for adjournment.
So move.
Berman, second.
Martin.
Martin, all in favor?
Aye.